Oh, hello there. Welcome to the OB40 Patch Note Show for Paladins. I was just catching up on some philosophy of Satyanaya. Some light reading, you know, just how we do it here in the realm. My name is Ray Day, and welcome to the Patch Show, guys. Of course, I'm joined by my lovely panel here. I feel like we're, you know, this is Rain Day tonight. I don't understand this. Hi-rez Pretty Hair, of course, and of course, lead designer here, hi-rez Dry Bear, and the art director, hi-rez Holt, is going to be joining us. We got a full patch day. There's a lot to talk about, and before we even start joking around, I just want to say, how's everybody doing today? It's kind of cold. You guys are all wearing jackets except Nick.
Terrific. Because
it comes from the hair.
I'm from Ohio.
Because you're from Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious about some of what you were just reading there. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. No. I mean, this is. I mean, I brush up on a lot of reading. This is, you know,
it's
just
the Book of Elo.
Just it's the summary of science and religion.
All science.
It's all in there.
Wow,
yeah.
that's a pretty small book for that.
Yeah. it was a doozy to read. This is my second reread, though.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I like to I like to keep going on
That's
those.
great.
You just got to stay literate, man. You got to keep going, growing in the knowledge. Speaking of growing, though, we've got a lot of things coming forward in this patch that is going to be adding to your beautiful experience in Paladins. And first, let's get to talking about the general updates going on. We've had some visual updates to one of our maps, and that is Jaguar Falls.
That's correct. So we've taken Jaguar Falls, and we've basically done a pass similar to what we've been doing on some of the other existing maps, where we've taken the theming of the map and really kind of played it through. So now that we've had a little bit of time to go back, a couple little gameplay polishes here and there with level design, we've cleaned up some elements, and then really just kind of allowed the artist to kind of explore the theme. So.
Is the theme Jaguars?
Yeah, so there's apparently a few Jaguars. It's kind of a hide and seek kind of thing.
0 to 100 on the Jaguars here.
0 to 100 real quick.
Can you find all 7 Jaguars in this image?
Oh yes, and apparently there's also some falls. So you know, waterfalls, Jaguars, it's covered.
And they look very.
In the spawn room there, Jaguar's taking a bath in the back.
Yep.
They look very regal as well. The design seemed to be kind of just to put in some fleshing out of this space, and it looks really nice. I mean, you could tell there's a lot of detail put into this. And again, with the visual updates, what's kind of the main goal for them going through these maps?
Well, I think you know, we have a very rich world that we're building, you know, and a lot of really kind of exotic and fantastical spaces, and we want to basically bring some of that environmental storytelling to each of the levels. And so now having the chance to go back to some of the previous levels and kind of add that has been really, really nice for the environment team. It's something we kind of imagined and concepted and planned for from the beginning that we're now having some time to go back and do. And then, of course, looking forward to some new maps and kind of raising that bar each time. That's
fantastic. You said a key word right there, but of course, time will tell the tale, and that's what you're going to get. Time is ticking. That's right. Interesting. We'll see what that means later on potentially. But we have, of course, so many things on the docket today, and there are a lot of updates getting done. I wonder what the next update would be. It's a visual update, but not to a map this time, to a champion.
That's right. So we had one champion left in kind of our pass to get everybody kind of up to speed with the part system, so you can get your customization. And so Cassie got a little work in that regard. So, but one of the biggest things that we've done for her, she's got a visual update, kind of again getting her in line with kind of her lore, her background, her character and personality. But one of the big changes was her weapon. So I'll let Rory talk a little bit about what kind of led to that.
Oh, yes, you see this in game, and you know, obviously, when we looked at Cassie's kit and how she functions, it was kind of difficult to communicate everything that the weapon did with it, because obviously there's a clip to it. She reloads it, which is a little bit atypical for a bow. And there's also a lot of really interesting modifiers that come out of this. So if you dodge roll, and since after you dodge roll, you get a bonus damage on your next shot, you'll see that now the shot is supercharged. So we get an opportunity to kind of display all these effects. And when you see the disengaged shot goes out, you'll see kind of that reaction different than the normal shot. When the blast shot is fired, it does look different and kind of carries that weight through. It also allows you to really kind of have that clip reload animation when you bring that back in. So all the functions of the weapon are now much more clear with how it works.
And this, again, the visual tells on that side of the bow right there. You can see that kind of light up when you have the dodge roll and the bonus shot. So a lot more easier to kind of tell what's happening with Cassie and what shots you really want to land in game. But to me, I've played this. Nick, you played this too. I mean, this feels different, right? It feels really good. It feels like you're really hitting with something.
It's cool, yeah. Like I mentioned, all the updates. You can see the arrow gets supercharged there, even with the dodge roll. Like it starts to light up and glow there. It just makes more sense, right?
Now, Thomas, with the design for this and kind of the art style, what were you all going for and given the task of changing Cassie's traditional bow into a crossbow?
Well, I think it was very similar to the work that we did around the shotgun for Buck, which is that, you know, we had a weapon. We liked it. It was a good weapon, well done, well crafted, but it didn't really fit what the gameplay experience was and what we wanted to communicate to the player, and didn't really have the feedback that we wanted for the player. So, I mean, Cassie's personally one of my favorite champions. Like, she's also been around for a long time. She's one of our original ones. There's a lot of love in the studio for her. Yeah. And so it just didn't feel good having her kind of stuck in that spot. And so with her rate of fire, with that quick play, and you know, kind of how you move through the map, we wanted to make sure that her weapon kind of felt the way, you know, you want it to when you're playing her.
It's a little less, it's a little more fantasy now too, as opposed to being less sci-fi. Kind of the same treatment that Buck got, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to keep it in line with the overall theme and the art direction, you know, for the game. And then, as you can see with the overview for her there and the image, you know, the lighting's broken, I think, in the gameplay video that we had. So she's not blue. The crossbow she's not? Is not blue. No. She definitely, her color scheme, the model, both from the weapons team and the character team, like turned out amazing. So she brought her back into that kind of huntress kind of color scheme and look that you know, she's always needed to be at.
One thing that's important to note too is they're actually nothing about how she plays changed. Right? Yeah. All the timings are exactly the same. All the pieces are exactly the same. Right. It all kind of functions, but now, you know, we just put a lot of effort into making it feel like it actually operated and kind of match that better together and also help her identify, because one of the things that's fun about Cassie is the fact that she can get in tight, she rolls around, she's very reactive, she's kind of all over the place. So she has that motion there, but we felt that, you know, the fact that you weren't really using that as much with the bow, we wanted to make it all feel like she is that huntress that's at home in the middle of the fight.
Yep. Definitely.
And she feels that way now. Of course, the crossbow going to be the new visual update for Cassie, and she's just looking fantastic. You'll be able to play that in OB40 when you get your hands on it, and that patch goes live. I believe we're looking.
No, and real fast though. Yeah. Like, I don't want to undersell this. So she's got a new crossbow. You saw the default, right?
That's right.
But this goes across all her weapons, obviously. And so if you own any of the crossbow skins and stuff, they've been updated.
Wow.
And the Nightbane one, it's sick.
Pretty awesome.
So a Nightbane crossbow.
Yes, across the board. So,
wow.
All the skins got touched and updated. All the skins got matched to a parody of that. And one thing that's important to note too is, you know, if you were one of those players out there that was a fan of the original Cassie, will still be available in the client. For anyone who had Cassie, when this patch goes out, you'll own that skin automatically. So if you want to switch right back to the old Cassie, you can do that. If you join the new Cassie, you can do that. And then there will be options available for the weapons as well.
Yeah, very similar to what we did with Buck. You know, we updated it, made sure everybody had the content that they already had, they already love. And so if you like Cassie how she was and you like those outfits, you have them. They're free. Timber collection. You know, feel free to pop it in, and now you can mix and match as well with her. So
she has
tender skin.
So if you want, personally, for me, if you want to take off, like, for me, I love the Nightbane Cassie, but I actually want to kind of shift the hat around. And actually, if you take kind of the new head with, I love the kind of ribboning on her ponytail. I put that on the Nightbane, and then I get the new Nightbane crossbow. That's all I need.
Baby. Do you get the abdomen showing, though? Do you go back with the kind of open? Yeah.
It looks exactly the same.
I know what I'm going for, boys.
Classic Cassie.
classic
Cassie
Cass.
It's classic Cass.
Oh, classic Cass.
Yeah.
She's a classy girl as well. I really like her. Yeah. You'll be able to check her out in the near future. Now, going on, we have some more things. Purchasable in-game content will be available, and that includes something that's a brand new addition to the game called sprays. Now, will you enlighten me, Dry Bear, on what is a spray? I have no idea. I've never sprayed anything in my life.
Everything.
I've never sprayed anything.
Oh, anything.
I've never sprayed everything.
So actually, sprays are an interesting way to kind of make your own personal mark on the map when you're in a match, right? So you can walk up to any surface in the game, and if you really like those Jaguars, you can run up and kind of paint something on the face of the Jaguar and kind of get some cool, interesting things there. But you'll have a new keybind in match available anywhere. You can walk up to a wall and just kind of apply that spray to the wall, and then it'll be your mark on the world. Now, initially, we're going to start out with a smaller subset of sprays, and that will grow over time. We actually have some kind of new custom sprays to show a little bit later on the show today. But the first initial wave of sprays you'll be able to get is tied in with the new collectible version of cards, which are gold cards.
Okay.
So you have a chance from a Radiant chest to get a card, and then obviously a smaller chance to get a gold version of that card. So when you put it in your loadout, or when you're kind of looking at others on the loadout screen in the match or the end of match or whatever else, or maybe when someone's kind of going to you because you're a great player, I'm going to hi-rez Pretty Hair's loadouts and copying one, I'll see which of his cards are gold, and he'll show that, you know, I have a cool collection of sprays and kind of gold cards there. The difference is, when you earn a gold card out of a Radiant chest, you will actually earn a spray version of that card's card art.
Wow.
So that dragon spray there is one of the Drogo's cards for the card art there. So all the card arts we have available, when you get the gold card, you'll actually get a spray version of it. So there's card, you're thinking in your head right now, if you're out there watching, like, oh man, I love this card, or Accelerant on Bomb Can, I love that, right? You're able to spray that on a wall and show how much you love it.
The real question is, can I spray this on my dead enemies at the end of my top play?
You'll spray that
instead of the B.
It'll be under them.
Make it go on them.
Maybe one day.
I spit on you.
Always looking for like the best BM possible in this thing. I love it.
It's the esport in me.
But really, so when you get these cards, you're not only unlocking the card. Maybe you don't even have that card. You get the gold version. That means you get the card and the spray.
That's right. It's one item. So you get, as soon as you get the gold card, you actually pick up the spray with it, and you'll be able to use that and equip it and use it with that champion. And then obviously we'll have custom sprays that are available outside of it.
And those are in Radiant chests?
Radiant chests.
All right. Yep. Well, make sure you pick up some Radiant chests. If you want to get into the spray game, I know I'll be getting into that myself.
Well, you haven't done it before, so you have to try it.
I said that's why I'm going to get into it.
Sprayed anything.
That's what, I got to get into it, man.
That's crazy.
I'm a beginner.
Have you ever opened like an orange to eat it or anything like that?
I've never peeled anything
never,
either.
Like got in your eye?
No, no.
Okay.
I don't. Moving on, we've got an actually really exciting event coming up. That's called Hi-Rez Expo. If you don't know, we'll all be there in full form and fashion, and there's something that we want to offer Paladins fans and players to celebrate that event, and it is titled the HRX Digital Lootpack. So if you're familiar with Smite and how that's worked in the past, we're putting together a bundle of cool things that you'll be able to purchase to kind of highlight the moment that is Hi-Rez Expo, and basically be able to check out some of that cool gear that we've got. So let's take a look at it right away. We've got Fernando coming up. We've got a Fernando and Viktor little MVP pose and skin.
What is that they're holding, Thomas?
That I don't know. It looks like someone who won something. So,
is that like a new Ruckus leg? Did they rip that off of him?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think as we show the rest of it, you'll get a hint of it. But yeah, so we have these two characters got full skins that are part of this pack. So you got a head attachment, you've got the body, you got a weapon. It looks really, really good. Very, very Paladins themed.
Yep.
And then what you're seeing here is a custom MVP pose that is only available through this, in which case you can see them hoisting the invitational trophy.
Wow. So a little sneak peek at what those esports players are looking to win there. And man, that's an MVP pose, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I need that pose in my life.
We actually, if you look a little closer, we actually added in some theming. The art team did an excellent job on this, but on Viktor's eye patch, you'll actually see logo for the event and those kind of things. So it's all heavily themed for the moment and those kind of things. And you know, one lucky team for the Invitational will be doing the exact same pose here. I hope they strike the Fernando pose.
All skill.
I hope they strike that Fernando pose when they hold up the trophy.
That's right. We'll be encouraging them to do that on stage. But there's also one more lady who was not to be forgotten about that she's added in this Lootpack as well. Ying.
Hey.
Yeah,
oh man, looking good.
Yeah, that's right. So like with any of the Hi-Rez games, you know, each year we have a convention skin, which we choose one, you know, god or champion, you know, that gets a special recolor, and the only way to get this is through code and through promotion. So you know, we'll be having it at all of our conferences in 2017, and the Hi-Rez Expo, and through this digital loot package, your first chance to get hold of her. So.
Can I get some skins to retweet, man?
Nice.
What?
Can I get some skins to
retweet?
retweet?
Those codes.
Oh, I don't know. How many followers do you have?
I don't have enough yet. I need more.
Okay.
I need to beat Dry Bear.
All right.
That's my goal.
All right.
All right.
We'll get there.
We'll get there one day.
Doing a giveaway on my Twitter. Please follow.
You and me together. All right. So around all of this, there's been a lot of anticipation for, I think, the most highlighted moment in this Paladins patch, and that is, of course, the introduction to another champion coming out and adding their name to the roster. That is currently one that we've loved and come to enjoy so much. And without further ado, we have the brand new champion to be introduced in OB40, ready to show you. That is Tyra, the Untamed. And there she is in her glory.
Ooh.
Thomas, Drybear, this is what you guys have been working on, and I mean, just talk about it. Just talk about Tyra. What's his personality like?
Well, yeah, I mean, we really wanted to kind of get another damage champion in there, right? We know we needed that kind of flex option, and obviously damage is more of a flexible role to fill in, right?
Yeah.
And our damage role is actually pretty diverse, right? You have some AoE damage characters, you have some direct damage characters, you have some damage characters with a little bit of control to kind of bring that in there. We wanted to have kind of a different option available in there that allowed you to sit at medium range and control the fight in interesting ways. But we also wanted to kind of get that nice. I mean, Thomas, what are we looking for this kind of presentation?
Well, we wanted a strong female damage character with us, and so one of the things that we have is, as I mentioned earlier, with our world, we have these fantastical settings, a very kind of deep and diverse world, and part of that is this idea that there's these fantastical beasts, that there's these.
Does she know where to find
these
them?
monsters? And she does.
I was so close to making that reference.
So with her, like one of the inspirations is she's our monster hunter. Right.
Okay.
So she's scouring the realm, going village to village, taking some money and taking on these things and saving the people. But and so that idea of a strong female kind of lone wolf kind of character that can kind of move and kind of deal with these larger than expected fantastical dangers was really appealing as far as a character to bring into our game and into these matches and into this champion versus champion conflict.
It's been something that's been requested, I think, by the community to get that type of strong female champion, that strong female presence in Paladins, and I think Tyra is going to fit the bill. So without further ado, let's head into game and see what she actually looks like when you're going to be picking her up and playing her. There's her auto rifle right there, and of course you can't see the bear pelt in this, but she looks so fun when you're just even staring at her. But before we get into this, I mean, let's walk through what she actually does. You're seeing this here. This looks a lot like, an automatic rifle that, one of the characters, Viktor, has already. What's kind of the purpose of this auto rifle, Driver?
Well, one thing I should mention right off the bat is obviously, this patch is aimed at next week, so a lot of this stuff is still in progress. So we're kind of showing you as it's getting close to the line, but there's still a lot of work that we have to do internally, just all departments to kind of get this over the finish line. But the big thing here is we wanted to have some kind of variance from Viktor, and what Viktor has that, what other auto rifles won't have, which is the aim down sights. He has the iron sight. So he has the ability to shift his accuracy dynamically when he feels like he wants to fight at long range and kind of get those nice headshots. So we wanted to contrast that with a kind of battle rifle experience that doesn't have that long range kind of accuracy. So you see that she does have a decent amount of recoil and spread from range. So she does want to get close as she gets close to these enemies, but she actually has some of the highest DPS in the game and actually has the potential for the highest damage in the game if she uses her abilities correctly. So she is, in all intents and purposes, as Thomas mentioned, she is a big game hunter. She is able to deal a lot of damage and take down almost any target.
Wow. So that sounds like a lot to take in just as a champion. I guess we'd have to take a look at what her abilities are. So let's head into her right click. Let's see what that does. This is what we've called the nade launcher at this moment in time.
So this is an underslung grenade kind of feel to it. So it's an on-demand ability to do a lot of burst damage. So fitting with that theme of being able to take out kind of enemies that are in your way or deal a lot of damage very quickly. She has that consistent damage on her main hand that will spread out over time. So the longer you fire, the more inaccurate it becomes. So you want to kind of do that in bursts or get close enough to spread. And then when a target's too close, or there's a lot of enemies put together, or they gather up in a large clump, she can hit that grenade launcher instantly on demand and blow them up or do a lot of damage in an area, which really helps kind of control that space. And actually, it goes really well into her next ability, which is her Q. And this is kind of a fire nade Molotov experience. So she actually has this drinking horn that she has here, kind of full of this toxic, flammable chemical. She'll throw it out on the ground, and it will actually explode, and then it will actually permeate and spread. So initially, it's pretty small. You'll see it kind of pick up over distance and spread and fill a space. And actually, programming and art team worked very hard on this one to actually build a dynamic experience. You can throw it down a hallway, it'll spread down the hallway. You can throw it in an open area, it'll spread. Or throw it against a wall, it'll spread out from the wall and go in a different direction. So this actually allows her to carpet a space with flames. When you touch the fire, you'll get a damage over time effect on you. You'll start burning and taking damage. And this allows her to really kind of, in combination with her grenade launcher, just throw it on the point, control the space, knock out the front lines, and actually disperse big death ball comps to really kind of put out that damage in a big way.
And this is obviously a damage over time. Is this a percentage of health that it's taking from targets?
That's
okay.
right.
So it's a percentage of their health. So Fernando's actually going to take a lot of damage from this.
The raw damage on a front line will be far more than a squishy. It will kill every target at the same speed.
Right.
But because it's percent HP, she's very good at kind of taking down those front lines and taking down kind of those big clumps to kind of spread it out. But what's interesting about her, actually, when you look at the rest of her kit, she doesn't have a way to kind of reposition in the fight. So she, in order to get stronger in damage, in order to get stronger in the space control, she gave something up, and that was her mobility.
Wow.
But she gained so much in the process. So looking at her F ability here, this one is the Hunter's Mark, right?
Okay.
She is the big game hunter. She is the Untamed. At any point during the match, and you'll see kind of the highlight going over enemies, she'll be able to mark that enemy for a short period of time. And what this does is it'll put a mark over their head and kind of get that little pulse on. Her and all her teammates will be able to see this champion through walls. So she can pick an
complete
EV,
reveal.
Complete reveal. She'll pick an EV or a Sky or something like that and mark her. And then as you walk behind walls, your teammates will see them. You will see them. You'll be able to track them down. But that's not just it, right? It wouldn't be true to her kind of hunter mentality if it didn't provide something else. Now, only Tyra will be able to do bonus damage to this target.
Okay.
So again, in combination with the Molotov kind of damage up with the firebomb and the ability to kind of mark them, plus the big explosion, she will do a lot more damage. She has 180 there and kind of pick up from there, do a lot more damage and kind of deal that. So she's able to kind of target a single person, reveal them, and take them down. But again, she doesn't have the control of space with movement, but she gave that up to get damage.
And so shredding, it seems like what she's going to be really good at.
She's scary.
I bet her ultimate has nothing to do with that, right? Shredding targets? No. Okay.
Not at all.
All right. So what is it then?
She turns into a giant bear. No, so her ultimate, again, because she is the Untamed, right, she decided at the very end she wanted to be unleashed. She wanted to unleash herself. So the ultimate, she decides that the clip that's in the gun now is not good enough. So she will actually kick it off and put a full drum underneath it. And now she has, for the duration of her ultimate, unlimited ammo. She fires much faster and she moves faster. So she just runs around untamed and just starts shredding everyone with crazy amounts of damage output. She still has the same spread and recoil. She still has, you know, no kind of reaction there, but she just has crazy amounts of damage output, and then kind of just a really cool control with the firebomb. So you put it. So actually, the combo for her, if you really want to take someone out, throw out the firebomb, mark them, pop the ultimate, and just shred them down.
Wow.
Go time.
Also, if Blake, you could actually use just a normal clip and then ult right when you're trying to reload as well. So just spray that normal clip onto a target, and then right when you're done, ult. Because that will just extend your time you're able to just shoot, and you're just basically nonstop. And actually what will happen is when that gets done, she kind of gets that free little clip to go fire again. So she has some serious, consistent DPS on the targets, shredding, and with that kind of Molotov cocktail, she'll be able to really put a damper on anybody standing onto the point too long. Now, that grenade launcher, is that really a close range thing? It seems more like a skill shot, and the Molotov, it has like some fire thing, right? So where is she in terms of difficulty, in terms of mastering this type of champion?
She's relatively easy to pick up, but the mastery is actually really high in some cases, and that's kind of the way we balanced out taking a character and giving them almost all damage. Is she has no real way, if she's caught out, there's not really anything she can do about it, right? She has to basically stand, put her feet in the ground, and fight, as she would if she ran into a giant beast, right? She would have to react to that and fight them up front, or she ends up just kind of falling to the wayside there. So obviously the grenade launcher, you have to hit directly. It doesn't have a super fast travel speed, so you have to react to that and land that right. The Molotov also thrown, so there's some skill shot action there. But also since it deploys and then spreads, it means that if you miss the mark on that, they're going to hear it, and they're going to walk away as it's spreading, and they're not going to get caught on fire. So there's a lot of planning and tactical movements that Tyra has to enact when she's playing. And in conjunction with the mark, she actually plays more of kind of like a commander role in the battlefield, right? So she'll be kind of, oh, there's an EV there, mark that team, look out. I'm going to put a Molotov on this hallway, make sure they can't come in this way, throw out grenade and control that. But remember, because she has the fall off and the recoil, it's hard for her to pick targets off at range. You have to be really intelligent about where you position yourself, how you move around the battle and where you decide to stand and fight and when you decide to retreat. And any mistake there can be a little bit difficult to recover from.
Right.
But when you do it right, she's got raw damage.
That feels good. In terms of loadouts and stuff, we haven't really talked about this. What kind of cards is she going to be having? Probably stuff to, you know, extend the time of the Molotov, some reload speed, extra clip ammo, kind of like that?
Yeah, some good stuff around there, kind of allowing you to focus more on the weapon or focus more on the Molotov or focus more on the grenade. And actually, one of my favorite parts about these is, you know, in essence, there's a lot of kind of elegance and simplicity to some of these, but there's some really cool things we're able to pull off. One of my favorites actually is the replacement of the big clip there on the weapon. Thomas, what kind of difficulties or challenges do we overcome when we're kind of implementing that new ammo system?
Well, the ammo for her was really important. In fact, the weapon was kind of the primary thing. We almost started concepting the weapon before we started with the character.
Wow.
In this case. And so we really wanted to make sure each and every ability, that your primary fire, that everything had like really good feedback, felt really good to you. And that was a combination of, you know, obviously the modeling team and animation and VFX and across the board. And then working with Garrett, who is the designer for this champion, with the ultimate, we really wanted to kind of then take that and amp it up a whole nother level. And that's where the drum comes in, you know, the glowing crystals, the little, you know, retaining wheel that's on the right, you know, comes unlocked and going kind of full bore at that point.
Well, it was a great job. Everyone came together on this. I even know just the sound effects were worked on here for the ultimate sound. Everything really, I think, blended to make such a great experience for Tyra now that she's kind of getting ready to be released. And Nick, you know, talking from an esports perspective, you've been playing Tyra a little bit, so have I.
Yeah,
where do you think she's going to fit in this kind of scenario? And what kind of cards or items, excuse me, do you kind of feel she's going to be best with in the realm?
First of all, shout out to Tank Shred. That's, I think, the biggest thing that she is going to bring to the table. Right now, the only real reliable percentage-based damage Tank Shred is on Sky, who is not so hot in the competitive scene right now. So I think she's going to be much more viable in that regard and breaking up death balls. I think Nimble is actually going to be really good on her for that kind of run and gun play style that she kind of has at a base level.
Interesting. So Nimble's obviously some wreckers. She's going to do a lot of damage to those tanks, and of course everyone is always excited about that. But we'll give you some more things to be excited about just in a little bit. Any finishing words on Tyra, guys? Fantastic job from the design team, the art team, everybody who was involved in that one. I'm sure everyone is really excited to play her.
Yeah, we're really excited for this. She'll obviously be coming in. She's got a couple of recolor skins, and then we got some stuff in the works for early next year.
Ooh, don't tease me, Thomas. Don't tease me now.
All right.
That sounds too. He's like, okay, fine.
All right, fine. I won't tease you. I won't tease you. We will not tease you. There's no more content. Yeah,
I'm an art director. I do not tease. I draw. Okay, well, moving on to that, we're going to get into the more nitty-gritty of the patch show, and we're going to get the two guys who know how to talk about this kind of stuff better than anybody.
That's
and
us.
You know who that is? It's me and Nick.
Me and
Slick
my
Nick the Ruler. Here you are, man, while we talk.
I already had one of these today, but
So we can chill and chat. Let's talk balance, buddy.
hit me.
All right. So we got some balance coming out. I know a lot of you are
Fancy.
excited.
I'm not going to do that. That's
Don't do that.
I hate that noise.
Don't be like that, bro. All right, so we got a lot of balance coming out, and one of the main things that we're looking at is there's been a lot of community suggestions on champions that they want tuned a little bit, right?
Sure.
And so one of the, I think a couple of the two that we've mentioned, that the community's mentioned a lot is Androxus and Cassie.
Yeah,
who
very
they felt have
strong
been very
damage characters
consistent
right now.
and strong.
Yeah.
So they're both seeing a bit of an adjustment here. So Androxus, his accursed arm, is actually being added, having a little bit of fall off added onto that damage. Explain to me kind of what that means for that.
That's correct. So I think it's twofold, right? It puts the burden of accuracy on Androxus. You have to be more focused on hitting your shots. Another element to this change is that it will reward the opponents for the correct behavior, similar to the treatment that Sky Ultimate got. If you were running away from Sky Ultimate, you now take less damage from the ultimate because that's the correct behavior, is to run away from it.
Run away from Big Bomb.
Similar, exactly. Similar to Androxus.
Marvelous.
You know, you gotta break line of sight, get around a corner. If you're doing that correct behavior, you're gonna take less damage now for it, as opposed to taking the full 1,000 every time. If you're doing the right things, if you get direct impact and you stay out in the open, that's when you're still gonna get punished just as hard.
So if I'm the best Androxus player and I play really hard, I practice a lot, can I still hit my 1,000 accursed arm shots?
Yeah.
All right. So it's all up to you guys there. And of course, if someone's really able to position well and outposition you when you get that ult, they're going to have a little bit of an advantage. Take a little bit less damage.
It feels better than just a flat damage reduction, right?
It does.
Because you still want to have that reward for hitting it, as well as not take as much if you're doing the correct behavior to get away from it.
That's right. All right. Well, that's good. I actually think that's going to turn out well. I've tested that. It feels pretty good, guys. I think that's a great change. He's also seeing a little bit of a damage reduction. So a little bit off the top, like we mentioned before, he's actually going from 620 from his standard revolver to 600.
Yeah. So with this, it's not the biggest change. It's just a little bit because he is so consistent that hit scan is just extremely deadly a lot of times. And what this does is like characters like Eevee, Kinessa, Sky, they're all 1800 at base, right?
Right.
So with that first edition
Sky's 2000
pickup of the Haven, they won't be 3-shot as much anymore. So it's just a little bit more for him. He'll have to hit that one extra shot maybe. That type of deal.
That's very interesting. Of course, those little numbers sometimes make a big difference, but I think this one is just bringing him into a place where we feel comfortable for him to be able to perform. Still got all the tools in the world to be, you know, a dominant carry in a game. And moving on to the girl who's been receiving some new tools, a crossbow, in fact. Cassie has had a bit of a slight adjustment as well to her damage. She's going from 700 to 650 on her basic attacks.
Yeah, so she's one of those characters with one of the more deadly combos in the game, where if you're getting, you know, shot, blast shot, disengage into the air, pinned while you're in the air, a lot of damage can come out, as well as on top of the fact that she has that no fall off aspect of all the other projectile characters, but she doesn't have, you know, that con that a lot of the blasters do of the slow projectile speed. It's a very, very quick crossbow bolt that comes out of there. So it's just to kind of bring her in line with how easy some of these players can hit almost every shot. It feels like they don't miss, you know. Guys like Dosups, Jake B, those Cassie mains, man, they just don't miss. But with this as well, it gives, like we mentioned with the Drogos change, it gives the designers more knobs to turn, I think, in terms of they can still keep the skill ceiling there, where they can mess with the combo damage and stuff that still makes you have to be that mechanical beast on Cassie, which I think a lot of the players, that's where they get rewarded, is when they can hit those full combos. But it takes a little bit off just standing there from the back line and kind of just doing this, right, and hitting for 700 every time. You want to reward that a little bit less.
And I think that's, I mean, a lot of her damage is pretty free. We watch it, and it just happens from behind the scenes, and it's almost just like, had no idea. It's part of, you know, sometimes the process, but I think right now, because she's such a dominant type champion in esports and in just the casual scene, wanted to make a little bit of adjustment and see how that goes. So Cassie, a slight adjustment to her damage. Now moving on, we've got Eevee, another lady in the realm, who's actually seeing a reduction as well. So Eevee will be getting just a slight nerf here, and that's a reduction from her bonus damage from Blink, going from 30% to 20% now.
Yeah, so first things first, it brings her in line with Drogos, who's another blaster, who is kind of the same deal with his combo damage, right? Where he just presses the button and he gets it with the thrust versus the blink. And the thing with the blink is it actually makes it easier to land your damage. You're blinking on top of people, and you're making your shots easier to land.
That's hard.
In addition to that, you have Wormhole, where you have a much greater uptime on your bonus damage as Eevee, on top of the fact that the blink is a relatively short cooldown. So between all those things, what it provides to Eevee, she was just able to keep her bonus damage up for too long. Well, she still can't keep that uptime on her bonus damage, but it's just a little bit too much in terms of, you know, it actually helps you to land your damage by blinking. But
absolutely. So, I mean, again, you're looking at kind of just that's really easy to do and really effective as well. And so still rewarding you for doing it. 20 extra damage. I mean, 20% extra bonus damage is going to be impactful. You're still going to be able to hit hard for a lot of champions, but just a little bit less due to the consistency of some of the play styles that she's got with the consistent blinking and her mobility, having to sacrifice a little bit of that damage.
Definitely.
So now, moving on, this is a really interesting one. And, well, I guess you and I have heard about this forever, every single day, I think, for what feels like our entire lives. And they've made some adjustments to Grover. So the Young Tree, the Young Church of Grover, will be reopening its doors, not even wait until Sunday. Thursday, Mass is going to be happening. And they're giving an increase to his health, 2,700 to 3,000.
The old Iron Bark treatment.
So 300 health to Grover. And they're increasing his damage again. So another patch, it was from 300 to 350. It is now going from 350 to 400. Bless up, Church of Grover, back in business.
That's correct. So the health change was originally that nerf came just from he wasn't dying quite as much as some of the other support champions, but you know, Dryber said it best, you know, we were wrong. So not only we gave him his health back, you know, we planted the seeds, gave him the stronger bark, but also that damage at the bottom end is going to be better for when he has to get up close, be in the fight, be the tree, be the healer that he is. So that's what he's meant to be there.
No, totally.
the other thing with the bonus damage, the way this is going to work now, the top end of the bonus damage is still the same, but it's been adjusted for this now higher base. So at the max range, you know, you're still going to get the same, but you will scale up to it quicker now that you're kind of starting at a higher point with a 400 as opposed to the 350.
So, I mean, what that really looks like in game, and, you know, is basically now when you're in the fight and you're doing the job Grover's supposed to do, you're healing next to your teammates, you're going to be able to be in that fight and be a lot more impactful because you're starting at that 400 range. So when you're scaling a little bit, someone's maybe 5-10 feet away from you, you're hitting for like 500-600 instead of hitting for like that 3-4, you know, maybe getting to 500 range, and that starts to be a lot more impactful.
It helps him with the scaling on Wrecker, helps him with the scaling on Bulldozer.
Right.
It's a lot easier to confirm all that damage.
And of course, Wrecker still doesn't. It's not going to be scaling with that, but still, it's extremely beneficial for him in so many different ways. So pretty exciting for Grover players, for yourself, I would imagine, and just for a lot of people in the esports scene who have been wanting to try out Grover a little bit more. He's got a very big buff. I would expect to still see him a little bit now. Still see him. What am I saying? We weren't seeing him at all, but now I expect to see him. I hope to. Bless up to Grover. Now, there's another one who's seeing some love, another support, and support's getting some love. I like it. All you support players, or we might have some more here. Pip, the young Vulpine, is getting a adjustment to his ultimate.
Yeah, the way I honestly, I don't know how it slipped my mind this much, but I thought that this was how it worked all along. But it will go through shields now, and the explosion will go through shields now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how do you? There's just. He's an ultimate. He's a walking ultimate.
He's always kind of been picked up for his ultimate because he's always kind of had that jack of all trades, master of none thing going on, right? So he does kind of a little bit of everything, but this now gives him a real reason to pick him. He kind of already was. Like when you would see Pip picked, it was oftentimes because they were looking to counter a lot of death balls, a lot of tanks, and now he's going to be able to do that a little bit better.
And, of course, I think now this just gives him that huge strength because a lot of his support, his aspect is wasn't using it, right? I mean, you just look at like how things go. He's healing himself more so than anyone else in the game.
You don't have to tell me.
So you don't have to tell me either. I'm just saying.
That's all me,
you want to play that acumen, you know, that side tank's acumen, bro.
Healing potion always lands at my feet.
That's right. You know, if someone else is around, good on you, bro. But I'm getting healed no matter what. And then taking this ability to kind of give him a theme, I think, and just really going hard, that's what he brings to the table. No one has an ultimate like that. You turn people into chickens. That's a huge, awesome thing about Pip. And now you're just going to be more consistent. You know that's going to have an impact on the game. You don't have to guess about it. Oh, I messed up my one ult, and now
there was that time period where it was kind of wonky, right? Where you would have to hit it just right. If there was any angles or stairs involved, it would kind of like make it inconsistent in terms of winning. Now you just got to land the skill shot, and it will come through for you.
I think that's going to be great, and going to definitely have people start counter building against that. Maybe we might see some more resiliences. We've already started to see that in the meta now against Pip, and so we might see that come a little bit more in flux. And finally, ending this thing off with a champion that starts with S. I don't know who that could be. Ground?
Blue is the sky.
Oh, damn it. Damn it, not ground.
Except purple.
I did it again. Okay, no, Sky. You're right. It's Sky, and she is going to get some adjustments here. Yeah. I know everyone's listening with bated breath. Sky is seeing a reduction in her health from 2,000 to 1,800.
That's correct. So she's kind of falls in line with that Eevee, that Kinessa lineup there. So she's the squishier glass cannon, that crazy damage potential output kind of backline assassin, right? The assassins are never very hard to take down themselves.
Right. And go ahead.
She's got the element of surprise. That's kind of her thing. She wants to sneak up on you, but if you hear her, you catch her out, then she's not going to be that difficult to take down.
Okay. All right. So despite that, there's more. There is more. There's a little bit of a change. She's getting a little bit more increased accuracy, actually, added to her wrist crossbow.
That's correct. So she was one of the few hit scan characters that had a little bit of a bloom. That's being brought down now to much reward you for getting up close. You're going to be almost guaranteed to hit all of your shots now. The accuracy bloom has come down quite a bit.
So it seems like Sky's been in a position where she had a little bit more health than needed, right?
Missing one or two shots on Sky could be very punishing to trying to get that kill. A lot of times that's all you would really need.
It's 300 damage, right? 300 damage. You missed 2 of those bolts, and so now, or not bolts, excuse me, just bolts from her wrist crossbow, basically,
Yeah.
even though they're not her poison bolts. But now she's able to have a little bit more accuracy, guarantee that damage a little more, and be more in line in terms of health, so that if you do play correctly, you hear the noises, you're going to be a lot more equipped to finish her off. So she's not going to be as kind of like this, oh my god, you know, Sky in this game. If you're in a casual, and if you're really good, you'll be able to take more advantage of that, and maybe in a pro scene as well.
Yeah, a lot of these changes just to keep in line with the theme. If your opponents are playing correctly, they can punish you more easily just as well. If you're playing correctly, you're going to do a lot more work.
Yeah, fantastic. So that's all we have for Balance today. Nick, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, deuces.
Have a good one, man. Deuces. All right. Where are we at?
Exit stage left. That's where we're at.
You're still here?
I don't want to leave.
Production, can we get this guy?
Don't make me go.
Can we,
please?
Can we do something about him?
Please?
No, okay. All right. All right, we have a new guest. Hi-rez Holt has adjusted to a more feminine version of himself. And
this is our visual update for
I'm sure
Visual update.
Yeah,
It's gender bent Thomas Holt.
new skin.
Look at this Cassie rework.
Oh, my God. Here it is, the real-life cosplay.
It's so real.
The
The 3D artists are amazing.
Are you are you cosplaying at HRX?
No. No, unfortunately not. I really want to, though. I really want to do Tyra. I know everyone's like, do Cassie, but I know.
Okay.
you gotta get the Skrillex
Not
shave.
the answer.
If you wanna do
Anybody was looking
Tyra,
for it.
You already
you
got the
gotta go
side
in.
braids. They just kind of just braid the other side. You know,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
All right, you get the head cosplay here. It looks like. So, Alyssa, you've come on to talk to us about some very merry things going on in the realm.
Lots of
Paladins.
festivity. We've got a ton of events and sales going on.
ton?
A ton.
Not even a
1
pound.
ton.
Not a
No.
kilogram. A ton.
A ton.
Oh my
2,000
God.
Yeah.
pounds.
Super
It's a
awesome.
buckload, actually.
Oh, buckload.
Yeah, it's a buckload.
Wow.
So the first one actually starts tomorrow, and it's the 12 Days of Paladins. Starts tomorrow, the 12 Days of Paladins. The 16th through the 18th is going to be double XP. The 19th through the 21st is double gold. The 22nd through the 24th, all champions are unlocked. And then the 25th through the 27th is kind of crazy. It's double XP, double gold, all champions unlocked, and a free Radiant chest roll for first one of the day.
Wow.
So,
And throughout all that, starting tomorrow,
Nice.
actually, all boosters will be 25% off, which since the boosters, when you buy them,
Yes.
they give you crystals when you log in every day, bonus
Wow.
crystals. So it's almost like there's a rebate there,
Oh my
right? So
God.
you're getting the booster, then you're logging in every day, and you're collecting your daily login reward, but then you're getting
Pays
crystals
for
again
itself,
for
man.
logging in.
Pays for
and so all of a
itself.
sudden, like, it's just paying for itself. All the while, you're getting tons of XP and tons of gold, but then the booster is on top of the double gold and the
Yep.
double experience that you're getting, and
Nice. Nice. Nice.
This is a great investment for those of you at home looking to get in the game.
It certainly
I've seen
is.
some great football in my time. This is great football.
This is great football. This is good football right now.
all right, so on top of the 12 Days of Paladins and the booster sale, starting next week, actually on December 22nd, we have the winter sale, which is 50% off all of the Founders Packs.
Whoa.
Wow.
That is
Whoa.
huge. Yeah, 50% off
50?
all of the Founders Packs.
50.
50.
50 cent.
50.
On all three of them?
50%.
I'll trade them.
50
I'll
cent.
trade
I'll
them.
trade 50 cent off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we have the chests on sale. So it's 33% off the Colossal chest and 30% off the Radiant chest. And that starts the 22nd.
Wow. I can't even keep track of what you just said, Alyssa, to be honest.
Just stay festive the whole time. You'll be fine.
And that is what I plan to do. That is way too much stuff for everybody to be giving away. What are you doing, Driver? What's going on, man?
We felt good for the holidays.
the
You know?
Why do you feel
Yeah.
this good, man?
Year, you know,
What
HRX is
shady
coming
thing are
up.
you
We're
doing?
feeling pretty-
What's he working
It's making
on?
you feel so
Hang
good
on,
right now.
Hang on. All right. You know, okay.
Okay.
We nerfed Cassie. We nerfed
Okay.
Congress, you know. There's some coal in there. So
Okay. I hear you. But I think this is pretty exciting. I mean, everybody is always looking to get their hands on some of the new content, some of the chests. It's just giving you so many ways to recuperate the crystals and, of course, the gold to be able to have that as part of your holiday experience when you're going to be home from school, hanging out, and just playing Paladins all day long, right?
If you don't get a 30-day booster when they're 25% off and it gives you crystals back,
You're a damn
What
fool.
are you?
you're probably...
You probably buy aggression.
You
probably buy aggression.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a powerful statement. That's a powerful
Shots
statement.
fired.
It's getting hot on the set, boys.
I'm going back to reading after that. Anyways, guys, I think this was a very good show. I'm very excited about it, but we're not done. You know that, right?
Never done.
Dryberry, you don't.
I'm glad you liked it.
You don't seem to know.
I'm
that.
glad you liked it.
I did like it.
Yeah,
I had a
so
lot of
far.
fun, but
Yep.
we still have more things to do, and that's to interact with the community. We've got
I love that
to
part.
interact
Speaking of which,
with the community.
in this patch,
Yes.
a big community request.
What?
When the round has not started yet, and
I like
the
this
wall's
shot.
up.
Should we make
Wait,
out?
please, no.
Let's make
Yep.
out.
Oh, you!
I needed a
If you
no.
press your ultimate before the
That's
round has
professional.
begun,
That's
so you're in the
getting
spawn
gift.
room, right?
No,
in the
it's
spawn
not.
room,
Gift
the
that,
round
boys.
hasn't begun. You press
Yeah.
your ultimate, nothing will happen.
No, dude.
So if you wanted to like VGS spam and taunt whatever else, that won't consider your ultimate. Now, the difference here is when the round begins and you're still in your spawn, you will be able to. So if you want to Drogo's ult out and fly across or whatever else you want to do, once the round has begun, it's no longer protected.
Gotcha.
But if the round has not begun yet and you're locked in your spawn, there's nothing else you can do, pressing your ult will do nothing.
That's actually a really great change. I've had that happen to
Spawn
me
room
like
Tempest
4
parties.
times in the last week.
No, I do it all the
AEW as
time.
much as you want.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's going to Is this encouraging VGS spam in
Well, there's
pre-launch?
spam protection
Pre-match?
unless you're a GM, so I can spam as much as I want.
Oh, okay.
And I do.
I'm a GM, too. I can spam as much as I want. So that's actually a really good addition. I'm glad that we're getting that fixed because that's definitely plagued me in my last week. But again, we have community questions coming up to end the patch overview. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. We've covered the new visual updates for Cassie. Of course, we've had Jaguar Falls visual updates. We've got a new champion, Tyra. And we are ready for the first question, which I think Alyssa is there. And we've also got probably coming up on screen, I would imagine.
Yeah, so the first question is, when will we see more new maps?
Well, let me tell you.
So the team is working pretty hard on new maps. We actually have about 4 or 5 in development currently.
nice.
And it's important to note that those don't always come out, right? We kind of work through and find the ones we like. We are actively working on new maps for Siege, and also kind of looking at new game mode options, potentially a 3rd mode coming in. So we're looking at that. We're hoping that soon we'll be able to kind of share some information on that new map within. Not too far from now, actually.
Okay.
New Siege map, kind of
Sure.
looking at that. So we're pretty excited to show that off. So we're not too far off.
Awesome. The next question is, what will Season 1 bring us?
Let me tell you.
A lot of things. So, on that front, we are looking at specifics around aggression. Thank you, Nick, for kind of bringing my recurring nightmares back up. The reason I can't sleep at night, I wake up like, what do we do with aggression? So we're looking at options for that. Obviously, a lot of the community feedback around Wrecker and Cauterize and how that feels as a late game healer.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned the changes to Grover and how that affects him, but obviously, one of the more pressing issues with him is around Cauterize.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of what Grover does
Yeah.
is bring consistent healing, whereas if you go up against a Cauterize situation, that can kind of shut that down.
Yeah.
Same thing for Frontlines. As we release characters like Tyra that target Frontlines, we do want to kind of look at Frontlines positioning in Season 1 and look at how they work together, but also just have a healthier balance between Wrecker, shield health, tank health, those kind of things. And also looking at kind of amping up the card system and how that has an impact on the gameplay, but also how you customize your character. So changes like the Drogo's change we made in last patch to how he controls his booster and those kind of things. All those we can flesh out with a more kind of advanced card system. That's something we're working through internally. And also just looking at kind of some of the older characters, like Grok, for example, who may not have the same kind of impact you look at in kind of a team fight experience. A lot of community members are talking about what to do with his ultimate, kind of feedback around that. So we're looking at all those changes and seeing what we can do there. And you can expect some of those announcements in the next few patches and as Season 1 starts to flesh out.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear. So the next question is, what is the airspeed velocity of a Poppy Bomb to Makoa with Jolt 4?
I think it's got to be
reading
it's got to
the
be ludicrous
science
speed,
book.
right?
You're the one that knows all about science.
I have deemed through
What's
this
the equation?
extensive reading of this exact book
Distance divided
twice
by time.
now.
Isn't it the 4th word on page 282?
205, 7 words down. It is life. Life.
Does that mean Bomb King
Life
is
comes
life?
at you fast, man. That's
I'm
kind
gonna
of
let you
we're
decide
getting
what
at.
that
Yeah,
means,
it's true.
man.
Bomb
Yeah.
King is life.
Sometimes it can stop suddenly, you never know.
Sometimes you never know when you're just going to sink over the edge.
You can't anticipate life.
Life's like getting hit with a giant turtle, I guess.
Damn, man.
It's pretty deep.
Touch my soul, dude.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to.
No,
Not on the show. Not like this.
I almost wanted to
Not
give you a
like
hug, man.
this.
Thank you, bro. No, yeah, ridiculous speed, ludicrous speed. I think that's definitely about where that's at. But I mean, Jolt's a little different now. So
different now.
I think a couple patches ago that would have been
I got slapped off the map this morning.
Got slapped off the map.
And I don't ever get mad when that happens to me. I just laugh as it happens. I'm just like, oh, here we go.
I know.
Turn up.
Oh, man.
One of the more fun ways to die.
It is. It is. I mean, you can't be that salty, you know, about that, right?
And someday soon you'll have a more consistent way to kind of get that.
That'll be interesting.
Yep.
I don't know what that means. All right, I think we got next question.
All right, what are your thoughts on creating different types of transport for each or some of the champions?
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Like Pip riding a chicken, Bomb King around on a bomb, Viktor on a jeep, or
rolling around a bomb
on a unicorn.
I'm thinking like a circus man, like you know, like.
So we're looking at the mounts. We are actually kind of just the mount system as a whole and how to kind of introduce new mounts to the game. And obviously, as we get further along in development, we'll be able to kind of share some information there. Character-specific mounts is an option. One thing that we're being careful about is making sure that any mount you get doesn't give you a different read, because you do ride the mount into combat, right? So if we made it so Bomb King turned into a bomb and rolled around, there may be a situation where you saw that and expect that to be his ultimate and not his mount, right? So we want to make sure that there is a clean separation so the gameplay stays clear and consistent and you feel like you know what's going on. There's no surprises there. But we are kind of looking at mounts.
Interesting.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
I like it. What was that?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Hey.
What?
Up, 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 up.
Hey,
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, so voice chat.
Triggered.
Wow.
Voice chat.
Wow, you couldn't have planned that.
You can't.
That's going to do it for our Patch Note show today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in.
We are looking at voice chat options. It's kind of just not to kind of repeat what we did on the Q&A, but voice chat is progressing, and obviously as console gets more and more online, we have more updates coming. We are still sending out keys actively on console for both PS4 and Xbox One for players to play there. Obviously, voice chat becomes more and more important as we build that up, and obviously how that extends to PC is important to us. We want to have more of a streamlined voice chat experience. You're able to kind of join in voice chats with your friends, communicate during ranked games and those kind of things. And we're trying to kind of get a really clean solution that we're happy with that builds that right into Paladins.
And even with Tyra, she's got the mark, right? So she almost kind of like serves that purpose of like, kill this person.
She's the commander, man. She's telling people where to go. She's spotting out EVs. She's killing hi-rez pretty hair. You know, it's all it's all working great.
I mean, that's a
Driver
great.
just builds champions to counter me.
No, but that's true. It's like it's so easy. Like you look at even Smite, like right when Ares ults somebody, everyone knows. Okay, we killed this person. It's pretty simple. And in a shooter, you have a little bit less of that sometimes, unless someone's stunned or something like that. Right. So Tyra, I think, brings an inherent aspect to this kit, which is just like, hey, that person's smart. Okay, yeah, that's a great person to shoot. Definitely. So I think that's going to be...
They're glowing, and there's an arrow over their head.
Oh, definitely. Let me should I shoot the glowing one or the not glowing one?
I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
And our goal with every new champion is make sure that we expand out that role to give you more team comp options, right? So you're not pivoting too hard on one specific champion, saying, oh, well, we need AoE, but, you know, I guess we have to pick Drogos or Bomb King. You kind of have those options. Like, well, if we go Tyra, maybe we can have the AoE from the fire and the explosion, and then focus more on their long-range damage. Or maybe if we really will have trouble with, maybe they pick Shotland and Skye on one team, we can mark them, we can pick them off, we know where they are, that kind of thing. So having more options with every new champion, expanding out that meta, but also allowing the new champions to actually naturally come in and shift any meta balances, right? If we have a big death ball thing going on, and creating champions that are naturally akin to deal with that. So it's not just, okay, well, if death ball is a problem, let's nerf all the death balls. Just actually, let's create more options to create a healthy dynamic system so you can build teams in interesting ways.
Wow. Well, that's, I mean, a great showcase. And talking about ranked and esports, we've got so many big events coming up. The hi-rez Expo is on its way. That'll be heading up to you on a Twitch stream near you, a YouTube stream near you, wherever it is, obviously on January 5th. And we'll be casting the Paladins Invitational there. It's going to be pretty fantastic. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And make sure to link your account to Twitch as well. That way you just have that set up. We're going to be doing some promos and good things for that. So make sure your Twitch account and your hi-rez account are actually linked for that action. And we'll also be able to talk a little bit about our Season 1 plans. Maybe for the design side, but I know on the esports side, we'll be able to talk a little bit about that at HRX as well. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for this weekend's EVs Winter Classic. Saturday, Sunday, it's the finals. 1 p.m. it starts, so make sure everybody knows that. 1 p.m.
2 hours earlier.
2 hours earlier, and it's going to go for a while. It's going to be fun. We're seeing the challengers who've been working their way up this entire time face off against the big boys.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice, man. It's going to be exciting. That's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the OB40 Patch Notes Show. My name is Rainday, hi-rez Pretty Hair, hi-rez Dry Bear, hi-rez Alyssa. That's it from us, and as always, we'll see you all in the realm.